Everyone, appreciate you joining today. We're going to spend some time talking through debt settlement offer affordability from the perspective of consumers and debt settlement advisors. Um, I think it's probably simpler to say versus in practice. Um, I think one of the important pieces we see is a lot of times when debt settlement firms start working with a consumer, they're doing a budget analysis at the get-go to make sure that that consumer has cash to put into the program and to set aside to contribute towards debt settlement payments. So as the debt settlement firm goes through, really what they're trying to go through and understand is, as a function of time, from the point that a consumer joins a debt settlement program, how does their trust account balance behave? Now, early in the program, the consumer is going to be contributing incremental amounts of money until they get to a point where the consumer can go through and afford their first settlements. Now, sometimes that's 4 months or 5 months or 6 months, and often debt settlement firms want to help that consumer start settling their accounts as quickly as possible, but there needs to be some buildup of cash in the trust account. But then from that point forward, essentially the mental math that both the consumer needs to do and the debt settlement firm needs to do on the consumer's behalf is, if I agree to this settlement that is presented to me by a lender or by a servicer, do the economics of that settlement work for the consumer? And a simple way to visualize this is going through and saying, okay, if the consumer's making a regular deposit amount on the monthly basis, and those different payments are going out to cover the payments to the creditor, the payments to cover the debt settlement firm's fees, and the payments to the payment processors that actually move the money for debt settlement firms. Does that settlement offer that's getting accepted ever take the consumer's trust account balance below zero or below a specific margin of error that the debt settlement firm has forecasted in to try to make sure that the consumer always has a little bit of extra cash in their trust account? So really, this is the math that folks are trying to run over and over again, forecasting out the cash availability to afford these settlements. If we flip over to the actual application that debt settlement advisors use, you'll see here how a single consumer's account is reviewed. And you'll notice that we've got high-level consumer information at the top here with different actions that can be taken. You'll notice that there's account-specific information here about the current manager of the account, who the current creditor is, and who the original creditor is, as well as different ways to manage enrollment statuses. And you'll see the pre-approved offers that a lender or servicer has gone through and authorized for this specific consumer. Now, normally, a human would look at the details of each of these offers and manually look at a consumer's trust account balance to do the mental math of whether the consumer could actually afford the settlement. But that takes time, and we want to make this something that can be done very quickly so that advisors can do this activity more frequently and drive faster liquidation and faster review of these different settlement offers. So right below the total per month or one-time payment amount, you'll see this affordability tag here, where offers are either classified as affordable or not affordable or almost affordable. And you'll also see a date here. So this date actually forecasts the first date that this offer could be eligible. Now, sometimes that first date is in the past, meaning you can actually afford this offer right now. Other times, this will give you visibility out into the future, saying this offer is not affordable today, but it might be in 23 days or in 28 days or whatever that amount of time is before the consumer is going to have cash to afford that offer. So if we click into the details here as a advisor, you can do several mental checks very quickly. You can check off, does this offer satisfy the payments to counterparties? Does the offer have the settlement fees that are due to the debt settlement firm satisfied? Does this offer have the payment processing fees satisfied? And does this still allow for a trust account cushion balance so that there's a safety net for the consumer? Now, these are the 4 checks that are being run on all of these different offers. But you can even go one step further. You can view every single payment in and out of the trust account balance and see, okay, this consumer is going to have a positive trust account balance all the way through the end of the payment plan. And that's their running balance here. So as we work through this, it's really, really important to go through and see that, yes, all the way through, regardless of inflows and outflows out of a consumer's bank account balance, this offer is affordable. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that this is the best offer that's available. There might be multiple competing offers for the consumer at any point in time, but it's a good initial check so that it's very, very simple to do that mental math. So here's an example of an account that's not affordable. And here you'll notice this tag that just says not affordable. And in this event, even if this is a great offer from a lender or servicer, if the consumer doesn't have the cash to settle this account, then that offer is not going to get accepted. So it's really important to save advisors time by not spending that time reviewing offers that don't even pass the initial criteria, and instead focusing that time on the accounts that are affordable for the consumer today. Just returning back to the high-level way to think about affordability. As we look at each of these individual accounts, we want to look at, can the inflows of deposits cover the outflows of payments to creditors, fees to the debt settlement firm, and fees to payment processors, such that the consumer is going to be able to actually afford this, stick to the payment plan, have a really high stick rate there, and not get in trouble with agreeing to too many settlement offers at the same time. So again, very, very in the weeds topic that we're walking through, but really important to settlement velocity and review velocity for debt settlement firms to work through offers quickly. If anybody has questions about this feature set, this is an optional feature set that debt settlement firms can choose to leverage. They do not have to, but it does speed up the process quite a bit. So if anybody wants to chat about this afterwards, please reach out to either myself or Mike Daniels on our team, and we'd be happy to walk through it in more detail. Thank you.